What good news is coming your way? This reading begins in a difficult place. There may be something in your life that has left you feeling uncertain. You may be worried about what you're going to lose, waiting for an answer, wondering whether a situation will work out in your favor, or simply trying to protect what you still have because you don't know what will happen next. The final card changes the entire reading. Because the good news coming your way may not arrive as a sudden opportunity, unexpected money, or something dramatic. It may arrive as an answer, a decision, a truth finally becoming clear. Something uncertain, delayed, or difficult to understand may finally move toward resolution. And the outcome may be fairer than your fears have led you to expect. Let's see what the cards are showing. Your first card is the Five of Pentacles. And the first thing I notice is a feeling of insecurity. Something may have made you feel unsupported, excluded, left behind, or worried about whether you have enough. For some of you, this could involve money. You may be waiting for a payment, concerned about expenses, wondering whether you'll receive an opportunity, or trying to manage a situation where your financial security feels uncertain. For others, this could involve work. Perhaps you feel overlooked. You're waiting for an answer about an application, promotion, contract, or decision. Or you're wondering whether your position is as secure as you thought. And for some of you, this may be more personal. You may feel that someone has withdrawn, that you haven't received the support you expected, or that you're standing outside a situation, waiting to find out whether you'll be welcomed back in. But whatever form this takes, the Five of Pentacles shows that uncertainty has affected how you feel. You may be preparing yourself for disappointment, assuming that the answer will be no, or believing that because something hasn't happened yet, it probably isn't going to happen. But then we reach your second card, the Two of Swords. And now we see why the situation has been so difficult. You don't know. You don't have the answer yet. Something may be delayed. Information may be missing. A decision may not have been made. Or perhaps two possibilities remain, and you have no way of knowing which one will happen. The Two of Swords can create a strange kind of stillness. You can't move forward because you don't know what you're moving toward. But you can't completely walk away either, because the situation hasn't been resolved. So you wait. You think. You imagine different outcomes. And the longer you remain in that uncertainty, the more difficult it becomes not to assume the worst. But this card also tells me something important. The situation is not finished. You may feel stuck, but stuck is not the same as rejected. Delayed is not the same as denied. And uncertainty is not the same as a negative outcome. There is still more to be revealed. Your third card is the Four of Pentacles. And this tells me that while you're waiting, you're trying to protect yourself. You're holding tightly to what you have. For some of you, this is very literal. You may be saving money, avoiding unnecessary expenses, protecting your job, holding onto a position, waiting before making a financial commitment. For others, you may be protecting yourself emotionally. You don't want to become too hopeful. You don't want to expect something good and then be disappointed. So you're keeping your expectations low, holding back, trying to stay in control. And I think this card shows just how much the uncertainty has affected you. Because when you don't know what is going to happen, you often try to control whatever you still can. Your money, your time, your emotions, your plans. You hold tighter because you're afraid that if something else changes, you'll lose even more. But we still have two cards left. And the next card reveals why this situation has been so difficult to understand. Your fourth card is the Moon. You do not have the full picture yet. The Moon brings uncertainty, fear, assumptions, information that hasn't been revealed, situations that are difficult to see clearly. And I think this is important because you may be reacting not only to what has actually happened, but also to what you're afraid might happen. When information is missing, the mind tries to fill in the gaps. You imagine the worst outcome. You question people's intentions. You wonder whether something is being hidden. You begin interpreting silence as an answer. But the Moon tells us that appearances can be misleading. What you currently believe about the situation may not be the complete truth. There may be information you haven't received yet. A decision may still be happening behind the scenes. Someone may know more than they're currently able or willing to tell you. Or the situation may simply need more time before everything becomes clear. And this is where I want you to notice something. The Moon is not the final card. There is still one more card. And your final card is Justice. This is the good news. Justice brings clarity, truth, decisions, fairness, balance, something being corrected, something being made official, an answer arriving after uncertainty. For some of you, this may be very literal. You may receive news about paperwork, a contract, an application, a payment, a legal matter, an official decision, a workplace issue, an agreement, or something that has been waiting for approval. And after a period of uncertainty, you finally know where you stand. For others, justice may appear through a conversation. Someone tells you the truth. A misunderstanding is corrected. Information comes to light. You receive the explanation you were waiting for. Or a situation that felt unfair begins moving toward a more balanced outcome. And what I find most important is the contrast between the Moon and Justice. The Moon says, I don't know what's really happening. Justice says, now the facts are clear. The Five of Pentacles says, what if I lose something important? Justice says, the situation will be evaluated based on what is actually true. The Two of Swords says, I don't know which way this will go. Justice says, a decision is made. And the Four of Pentacles says, I need to protect myself because I don't know what will happen next. Justice says, you may finally have enough clarity to decide what you need to do. So, what good news is coming your way? The cards suggest that you may not have to remain in uncertainty much longer. Something that has made you feel insecure, excluded, worried, or afraid of losing stability is moving toward an answer. Right now, you may not have all the information. You may be waiting, protecting yourself, trying not to become too hopeful, and perhaps imagining outcomes that are worse than what will actually happen. But justice suggests that clarity is coming. A decision may be made. An answer may arrive. Something may be approved, settled, confirmed, corrected, or made official. A truth may finally come to light. And once it does, you can stop guessing. You can stop trying to make decisions without enough information. You can finally respond to what is actually happening rather than what you're afraid might happen. For some of you, the outcome itself is the good news. You receive the approval. The agreement is reached. The decision goes in your favor. The payment arrives. The misunderstanding is corrected. Something you were worried about turns out to be more secure than you thought. But for others, the good news may simply be finally knowing the truth. Because even if the answer requires you to make a decision afterward, clarity gives you something uncertainty never could: the ability to move forward. And I think that's the real message of this reading. You've been looking through the moon, trying to understand a situation while important information is still hidden. And when you can't see the full path, fear can make the future look worse than it really is. The reading doesn't end with the moon. It ends with justice. The truth comes into focus. The situation becomes clearer. And something that has kept you waiting may finally reach a decision. So, if you're currently waiting for an answer, if you're worried about your security, if something feels unresolved, or if you simply don't know where you stand, remember that the situation may still be unfolding. Don't mistake silence for rejection. Don't mistake delay for denial. And don't assume that your fears are showing you the complete picture. The good news coming your way may be the moment when uncertainty finally ends, and you discover that the outcome is fairer than you expected. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest. And if you enjoy discovering what the cards may reveal about what's unfolding next, subscribe to Celestial Archivist Tarot. I'll see you in the next reading.